And then Tara took off, and before you knew it, I was flying around with Tara. She was represented Ralph Lauren for many years, so I think my life was very much taken with that, being a stage mum, I think they call it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big part of it. Then the club, of course, in Westport and Fairfield.
Yeah. You told me also, Margie, that obviously music is a very big part of your life, but your faith is something that's very important to you as well.
Oh, yeah. I connected to the music, in fact, in many ways, yeah.
Would you like to tell us a little more about that?
Well, I think, again, my grandfather, and my mother was quite a spiritual lady. She sang hymns around the house doing her chores.
Faith of our fathers.
Right, of her fathers. And my grandfather, the rosary was a big part of our life growing up in Ireland. My grandfather could do the rosary in Gaelic because he spoke fluent Gaelic. My grandmother didn't speak a word of it.
And there was a lot of religion in school as well.
Well, not really, because I just went to the national school in the 6th grade. I mean, that's where you didn't get much of it in the national school. No, it was home, you know. But I mean, the way of I think you got it from the church, from mass, you know.
And do you have any memories of processions? I
Oh,
always
yes.
associate, you know, the May Day procession and Holy Communions and all of that.
Oh, yes, yeah. That was a big part of it, yeah.
Do you remember your first Holy Communion?
I do, yes.
What do you remember about it?
Well, gee, I mean, all we could remember or look forward to, we were going to go for ice cream afterwards. That was the treat.
That was the treat.
The ice cream parlour, that was the treat. Yeah, special treat, yeah, ice cream, yeah.
And confession, confirmation?
Oh, must walked confession, you're kidding me? And ride the bike on during Lent. We nothing to ride the bike to Knock, 18 miles or whatever. And the rain.
You were that close to Knock.
Yeah, on the water of Sligo and Mayo, yeah.
And do you remember those trips to Knock?
Oh gosh, yes, of course. Oh yes. My friends and I, we would go, and somebody would make a remark, gee, it's a nice day, and we'd say, yeah, nice day, it's pouring rain. We were hiding under a tree from lightning, you know. But it always turned out to be a fun day. You know, we rode the bike every place. I mean, we rode for miles.
You would have. It was your only means of transportation, really.
Yeah.
But what would you do when you went to Knock? Knock, of course, being a place where Our Lady appeared.
Well, you went to the mass. You were there in time for a special mass. But then on other occasions, we would just take off in the middle of a week and just take a ride and go there, and just for what it was.
And when you were a child going to Knock, did they have, I can't remember what they called them, all the stands where they would sell all the
not as much.
Beads?
They did, but they didn't have, it wasn't quite as massive as it is today. They had it, in those days, they had the, there were many cures in Knock. And there were many, on the entrance to the church, there were many canes and crutches. But if you were healed while you were there, you were supposed to leave that as a testimony to your healing. So I remember lots and lots and lots, room size of canes and sticks for a testimony. And I remember reading years later in a newspaper where a woman had gone to Knock and she was healed. She'd been bedridden for, I think, like 3 or 4 years from this crippling disease. And she was home one day and she said to her husband, she said, she said, John, she said, it's great to be healed and I'm baking bread now and everything, but you know what I just remembered I left, that stick I left to Knock, she said, that had silver in it. So he said, would you like to go back for it? So the joke was, everybody, God forgive us, the Irish humour again, that she needed it coming back with your return. You're supposed to that was kind of, the mean sense of humor,
It's true about the Irish sense of humour. You have a good sense of humour.
Tried to quieten down.
What?
I was often yelled at for laughing too much. Yeah.
For laughing too much?
Oh,
yeah. Yelling at you for laughing too much?
Oh, always laughing in Ireland. You're always laughing. Laughing at anything. If somebody fell in front of you, that was a joke. I mean, the carefree life of Ireland was beautiful.
You said to me before we started here that if you had one day to live again.
Yes, yeah. it would be to go home to where to my village, and if everybody was there that I knew and loved growing up with. I mean, they were comedic, they were comics. I remember they enriched my life in more ways than one. We used to do plays. I forgot to talk about the plays. My aunt's husband was great at plays, Joe O'Leary. He died since. But I found it so easy. They gave me a part in a play, and I think I was only 15. It was called, the name of the play was called The Queer Fellow, or The Queer Fellow. And I remember I was playing the role, and I was very young, and I was wearing a black shawl and flower in my hair. And what I had picked up from the women around me, who actually worked for my dad, slitting potatoes, and the way the motion of their hands and the way they spoke, the parish priest said, "You're so good, I could take you to the Abbey Theatre." Because I had the whole thing down pat. Their accent, their brogue, and the way they spoke to their sound. But we were surrounded by that. By, I don't know, looking back, it was comedic, but they didn't think they were funny or comedic. And
I suppose it's when you stand outside it and look back at it,
yeah,
realize.
yeah. If that's what you love, I mean, if you love something else, you can go for that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And if you were to go back for that one day, Margie, how would you, with people you love, and I know your parents and your grandfather would be there.
Yeah.
Who else would be there?
Well, the neighbours, mostly the neighbours that would stop, and if they made a piece of cake and you're going to the town and you're always running because you have help, you know, my dad had help, and they depended on, we had to go to the town every day for fresh meat, and you're in a rush, but the neighbour would come out and say, "Come in, I just made a piece of cake, and come in and have a cup of tea and a cup of cake and a slice of cake," and the quick chat. God forbid you were late coming back with the dinner or whatever.
That wouldn't do.
No.
And how would you spend that day?
Oh, cooking. I mean, cooking.
No, this day, this imaginary
the
day,
imaginary. I think
yeah.
just being amongst the neighbours and watching the lads go through the road, past the road, and stopping and saying, "Where'd you go last night? Oh, was it good? Oh, was Tommy there? Did you tell him I will be there next week?" You know, it was. You know, that's what I think was so beautiful about it. It was so safe.
Yeah.
You know.
You lived a very diverse life here in America,
Mm-hmm.
between, the various jobs you had in New York and, coming out here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
But your Irishness is very important to you.
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Oh, yeah. It's easy. So easy to keep it. Yeah. Yeah.
Some people don't, though.
I know.
What's important enough about it to you, do you think, that you've kept it?
Oh, it's where I have best time. The club here is an intricate part of my life. The music, we have this great group, the Shamrocks. I think is the greatest thing that happened. The camaraderie of all of us, and we all pick our favourites, and it's good. And we have the castle close by, the Blackrock Castle, which is fantastic. Great place to play, great place to make friends. Share your music. It's the camaraderie, I suppose.
It's good. Would you say that America's been good to you?
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think I did the right thing, yeah.
No regrets?
Oh, absolutely not. No. It's great. It's a great country. It's a great country.
And to take you back, you've been living here in Westport now for a number of years. If I said to you, early days in New York, is there a memory that jumps out at you more than others in terms of being, a new person coming out from Ireland, whether it's the crowds in New York, you mentioned the subways earlier, one of your strongest impressions, I suppose.
I think I would have gone to more dances. I would have gone to more of the dance in the weekends if I were doing it again. I think I would have, yeah. Maybe that's about it. That's not an impression, I suppose. Yeah. But looking back, that was the best part of it.
Well, one of the things you mentioned to me earlier on was you felt, had you done the right thing maybe?
At the beginning,
yeah. Loneliness in a sense too.
Well, yes, it can be, yeah. Yeah, it can be, yeah. Yeah. But then we didn't have the Irish club, we didn't have the Gaelic club. But we did have the dances, I must say. We had a variety of good dances. Dance halls like City Centre was a big part of it.
So in a sense you've had the best of both worlds?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, was there anything else in a sense, I have all these questions in that here, but was there anything else that you felt that you wanted to, add on here or talk a little bit more about yourself?
Well, something that meant a lot to me when I returned to Ireland a few years ago, in my mother's house, I wanted to talk about an altar that was used during it must be medieval or during very troubled times in Ireland. It's still there. Other people are living there now, and they took me to my mom's house and showed me where she was born, and the sand pit, and where the masses were said in her, where they had I think it's called a landfill, or no, a sand pit actually, where the pit is dug, and they have it's like a funnel. That's the only way I can describe it. And while the mass was being said at this particular altar, at the bottom of the funnel, there was a lookout man from the neighbourhood would look out. If the priest was saying mass, he would be murdered. So that altar is there, and that means a lot to me. That's in my mum's, even though that family is no longer there, but the altar is still there. And the stories we hear about all of this, and that meant a lot to me.
And we didn't talk a lot about your mum. I know you said that at 13 years of age she died.
Yeah, she did.
Hard for a little girl.
It was, yeah, it was. It was a great loss. That's something that you'll remember for the rest of your day when you hear that, you know. But she had said goodbye. She said she wouldn't be coming back, and I wondered if I didn't want to say goodbye to her because I didn't want her to know that I knew she wasn't going to come back. So it was sad.
That had to have been a very big influence in your...
Oh yeah, it was a tremendous loss. Yeah, because then you're still playing with your friends, and they're saying, "I got to go home. My mom will be waiting for me." You get a lump in your throat. It was hard. It was very hard. But I had my grandmother live in the house, and I thought I will remember that day very clearly. I saw my grandmother eat, and I wonder how is she swallowing the food? Because I thought, will this lump ever leave my throat? I would choke if I ate. And I was amazed, and I said, "No, she can eat, and I can't swallow." So you remember little things like that stays in your life forever. Forever.
It must have changed your life in many ways.
Well, it did. Yeah, it did. She was wonderful. She was very educated. She was educated in the Presentation Convent in Tuam. She got a scholarship as a young lady, and she was very beautiful, unlike me.
I wouldn't say that at all, and it's obviously passed on to your daughters, Margie.
Yes, it was. I think it skipped a generation.
It did not. It did not.
Yeah.
It took a while, though, to come to terms with that loss.
It does, yeah, but you keep a step upward, don't you? You just hide it. You go on.
Would you still have come to America? Do you think that may have influenced how the direction that your life took?
Yeah, I always felt this would be. I think my parents having lived here for 17 years. I think I felt that there was this part of belonging here and belonging as much as we belong there. So, and then I had lots of aunts and uncles here, spread all over, on both sides of my grandparents' families.
So who's left in Ireland now?
In my hometown, in my family, my sister's son has a place now.
And Martin?
Well, Martin lives up in Salthill, and he left the order. Yeah, you know that, you met him, and he has 2 sons and a wife. Yeah, and he lives in Salthill, which is nice.
And how do you find trips home now?
I finally got used to, the fact that Dad's gone. It was very difficult for the first time, and the second time it was horrendous, actually, for me that he wouldn't be there. Because I found that's why I was going home. That was really what Ireland was to me. So now you adjust, don't you? You get used to it.
Well, you and I have talked about that.
We have,
We've talked about that a little bit, and I suppose it does change.
Yeah.
Do you see that Ireland has changed a lot?
Oh, yeah. It's not the same.
For better, for worse?
Oh, well, I like the old Ireland much better. I'm very traditional. I think, the churches are not full the way they used to be, and I think the young people don't seem to have the faith that we had, and lots of things have changed. I think there's still good and bad everywhere, isn't there? I mean, but I would prefer the Ireland I was raised in.
Fun memories.
Yeah. But it's still there. Yeah, fun memories. It's great.
Well, Margie, thank you very much for chatting to us here. But I just want to make sure that there's nothing else here that you'd like to say that we haven't said. I suppose I'll just finish on one last question for you here. Would you give any advice to to any young person coming over from Ireland today, or is it such a different Ireland that the people coming, you know?
Well, it's always a good experience for a young person. Come and try it out. And I would say grow from it, and if you don't like it, there's always a plane ticket back.
That's very true too. So you'd say you did grow from it yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Like the old Edith Piaf song, "No Regrets." Well, Gura Mahagat, I think.
Thank you, Breda, for making this easy.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
I used
We're over.